After kicking off training camp indoors on Wednesday with a little light practice, the Browns, they were back outside yesterday and under the sun today for their third practice at Cross Country Mortgage Campus. Practice intensity expected to ramp up significantly on Tuesday. That's what head coach Kevin Stefanski continues to say. And he also continues to get peppered with questions about Deshaun Watson's possible suspension. Our Josina Anderson asking Stefanski about the judge's upcoming decision.
That you control the controllables, and really, as you know, I control what goes on in this field, so I'll continue to do that. And all my discussions with Deshaun or any of the guys on the team will kind of keep internal, but it's important for me, for all of us, to make sure we control what we can control.
All right, so we have our Josina Anderson at Cleveland Browns training camp ready for us today. Now, all the questions right now revolving around Deshaun Watson, what might be coming down in terms of a suspension. Reports are saying that the case rulings will continue into next week. What's the latest that you're hearing?
So even in coming out here, I'd have to say, was not expecting for a decision to be rendered by Sue Robinson, mainly because the entire week already passed. Was not expecting it on a Friday, not because it's impossible, but I think just with the hypervigilance on this entire proceeding and his case, you would expect that there probably be a lot of media chatter about a Friday news dump if it were to be today. And then, of course, the Associated Press reporting in advance of us getting here that per their reporting, it was not going to happen Friday. And obviously that is the case. But it's very interesting when you just take a look at the fact that, you know, they had this hearing, went through the July 4th week, and then she allowed them to turn in their briefs past that. I think it was actually around the 11th or what have you. So we're looking at over 2 weeks right now, particularly when in the CBA it says that the post-hearing brief should not be longer than 5 pages single space. And so whenever this decision comes out, guys, this really better be about 75, 100 pages, because it's kind of getting there for being a long time relative to the time we see for other cases. Oh, this is big, but still.
Yeah, I think we're all just waiting for that right now. Now, of course, questions at quarterback are just surrounding this camp right now. Jacoby Brissett would most likely be next person up. Take us inside, though, the team's decision to bring Josh Rosen.
Yeah, it's very interesting because obviously we're, waiting for the decision from Sue Robinson. Nothing guaranteed. Obviously, Deshaun Watson's side advocating for 0 games. On the other side, the NFL saying they have reasons for an indefinite suspension. But while they wait, that the Browns brought in Jacoby Brissett. They feel like he's one of the top number two quarterbacks in the league, though we know that he has been a starter. But really, when you look beyond that on the depth chart is, what are the questions after Jacoby Brissett? You have Joshua Dobbs, who, obviously they have their reasons for bringing him in here. You have respect for him as a quarterback, but the reality is he has not started. So, the question is the depth then, and this is why they're bringing in Josh Rosen. I mean, this is a guy that has first-round pedigree with respect to being in the league, but has taken a few steps along his NFL journey from Arizona, Miami, and ending up here. So you just kind of wonder about the amount of reps that he has relative to starting, and whether when under pressure and all of the attention that's going to be on this team, if that is sufficient, because we don't know how long potential discipline could be for Deshaun Watson. And then you kind of juxtapose that with the arm that they already had here in Baker Mayfield, and the decision to go ahead and let him go and buy a trade to the Carolina Panthers and having to face him week 1, no less. And so all of that is going to be under the microscope relative to that when each of these teams face each other in the opening week.
Yeah, no pressure in that position right now. All right, so the Browns just wrapped up training camp for the day. I know you were watching closely. What were some of your biggest takeaways from practice?
Well, just the continued ease that everyone is moving around with. I mean, it's not like you walk around here singing like it's dun dun dun, decision day drama and sound effects as you walk around. People are continuing with their business, and that includes mainly Deshaun Watson. I mean, a source was telling me about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, that they noticed when he came into the building that he had an extra kind of lightness in his step and in his personality and how he's kind of moving about. And I don't know that that's necessarily indicative of what they're anticipating, but I will say, just in having conversations, that I've continued to hear optimism relative to the expectation around this decision, though we are still waiting. Sue is Sue, but I think that bears out on the field. And then just with the fact that the head coach and Kevin Stefanski is splitting the reps between Deshaun Watson and Jacoby Brissett, and you're noticing that balance. Jacoby Brissett had an interception today, but was able to bounce back with several key connections and strikes. So just the necessity being underlined to get that amount and that load of reps, rather. And so that's kind of what I'm taking away from just being out here today, and just the relative good vibes in anticipation of the fans coming out here tomorrow.
Sure, the fans are excited for that. Now, depth at wide receiver, it seems like it's now in question. David Bell injured, Anthony Schwartz going down yesterday. Behind Amari Cooper, who can the Browns rely on?
Well, you know, this is where you begin to, I don't know if you begin to, but you just sort of highlight the big absence of players like Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry. I mean, those are guys who really took up a big fill with respect to the roles that they had at wide receiver. And so you're looking at Kevin Stefanski announcing that Anthony Schwartz is day-to-day with that knee strain. You mentioned David Bell. So this is why, really paying attention to Donovan Peoples-Jones speaking today, although he's not a man of very big words. But the expectation on him, opposite Amari Cooper, to really have to step up and take on even more of that role. He's going into his third year, has not received for more than 600 yards. Anthony Schwartz, though injured, had 135 receiving yards last year. So even with those injuries, right, this is still a big step that all of these receivers need to take to fill those very big shoes. And we'll see if they can fill that void. But having the quarterback is so big and so necessary. Look no further than the team that's also in the state, with the Bengals going from 4 wins to a Super Bowl appearance. So having the right quarterback can make all the difference, and definitely don't want to slight what Baker Mayfield did for this team. 1-31 before he got there, took this team to the division round against the Chiefs. One correct call with Rashad Higgins in the right side of the end zone, and maybe they go on to the conference championships and maybe the Super Bowl. So having the right quarterback matters, and certainly this team feels like they have it in Deshaun Watson, and that's why they got him.
Now, you sat down earlier with Nick Chubb. He's a soft-spoken guy. I saw you trying to pull out that personality there. What were some of your takeaways with that one?
That?
I saw it. What were your takeaways with Chubb?
I mean, Listen, first of all, and I was just saying to our intrepid camera people here behind the equipment that Nick Chubb is a man of few words, but he has a very loud game. He's a very forceful production, and that is what you honor in speaking with him. And you appreciate his humility in this day and age where, consumerism and the market is flowing for players, right? But what I take away is one of the things that I asked him, when you look at the big trio in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt and Dearness Johnson, who had 3+ 100 rushing yard games last season. One of them was 99, but you know what I mean. And the fact that he said he's willing to share, when I asked if there was room for all three, and some of the talk around the running backs and whether one is going to get traded or not. So I thought that was interesting. And just the fact that he continues to underline the role that he feels like Deshaun Watson is playing, acclimating himself to the team. One of the things that he said to me is that he noticed that Deshaun Watson is not forcing it, and that they appreciate that, and that he's making his voice known slowly over time. So, and then lastly, because he's been viral in some of these videos on social media, squatting 610 pounds, I had to give him my Tar Heel tips for not breaking the lumbar part of his spine as well. So I made sure to get that in there.
We had a nice chat about squatting right after that conversation. I'm going to try it. I think I got 100 pounds.
You can't break your back. You got to be under the bar. You see what I'm saying? So if you're doing that, it might be a little heavy. I mean, I don't know.
I'm going to try it. We'll see how it goes. All right, now on defense, you also spoke with Jadeveon Clowney. What was that conversation like? He's entering his ninth year and second season back in Cleveland.
Well, first of all, just talking to Jadeveon Clowney is already like a big coup, because even though I've been following him his career, we always talk off camera. Getting him on camera is a whole nother thing, because he is a master at the bob and weave for the interview. So we stood over there and made sure at the corner that we grabbed him, and we were very gracious, for his time. But I would say, just in talking to him, the first thing that stands out to me is the fact that this is his first time, and having back-to-back seasons with the same team. So I'm really just curious to see, how that's going to bear out. You'll hear what he has to say about that coming up next. I mean, what else did we also talk about? Just his relationship with Deshaun Watson going back to Houston and what he's seen from him here. Just his relationship outside of with Myles Garrett. And there's some other things that involve Batman and Robin that you'll hear. And what else did we talk about, guys? I don't even know. It's good stuff, because it's very colorful. I pinned him down on a lot of things. Just trust me. Stay for the next block, because it's going to be worth your time. Trust me.
You know, I didn't actually hear any of it, but I saw the interview, and let me tell you, I saw your microphone going way up there. Way up there. I mean, the man is tall. The man is very tall. Oh, yeah. All right, she is CBS Sports HQ NFL insider Josina Anderson joining us from Cleveland training camp. Josina, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to take a look at the Browns schedule, and it is a good one. Of course, we were talking about how they kick things off week 1 going against Carolina Panthers. It'll be interesting to see how Baker Mayfield matches up against his former team. My co-host Jeremy and I talking about those first 4 weeks. Seem like they can get off to a pretty good start.
Good, easy schedule there.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.